Hi, can you hear me? If you can hear me, I'm going to go ahead and start this thing. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. We're going to get started in about 1 minute. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Amy. I am our customer success and sales manager here at Balltime, and we're going to go through the platform tonight. If you're new to Zoom webinars, the difference between a webinar and a normal meeting is that you, as a participant or an attendee, you can't come off of mute at any point. However, you can use the Q&A to ask any questions that you might have. So if you hover your mouse over your Zoom screen, you're going to see a button down at the bottom that says Q&A. This is how you're going to ask any questions that you might have throughout this webinar. If someone could go ahead and just type into that Q&A like a quick hello, just so we can make sure that it's working properly, that would be phenomenal. Um, awesome. Thank you so much. Tonight, we also have my associates, Savannah and Caitlin. They're going to be here monitoring that Q&A. So they'll answer your questions directly in the Q&A. But if they feel like there's something that I didn't cover quite as well as I should have, or need to maybe go over something again, they're going to go ahead and stop me, and we'll ask that through the entire group here, and I'll go ahead and answer it for everybody. At the end of the webinar, we'll leave some time for more Q&A questions if you feel like something wasn't answered properly or you want to revisit something. And we'll address that with the entire group towards the end. I would imagine that as we go through this webinar, a lot of your questions are going to get answered as we walk through the platform. But again, if you ever feel like something wasn't super clear or you want to go through it again, feel free to ask that in the Q&A and we'll go ahead and do that. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with everyone. And Savannah, when you can see my screen, let me know. Um,
We can see it now.
you can see it. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. So, like I said, we're going to walk through the whole platform tonight. There's going to be a mix of people here, both players, parents, directors, coaches. So I might speak a little bit to everyone's experience. Your platform might look slightly different from my platform, but I'll talk about the places where that might be happening. So when you get logged into Balltime, you get taken to what's called your video library. This is like your home base of the platform. Up here on the left, these are the different ways that you can filter through the videos that your team has uploaded or that you have uploaded. I show this for a couple reasons. One, you can filter for these things because towards the end of your season, you're going to have a lot of video. You're going to want to be able to sift through that pretty quickly. But here you can also see the different types of video you can upload. So you guys can do matches, practices, scout film, scrimmages. An internal scrimmage just means that you're playing yourselves at practice. And then we do have a tryout feature here as well. Any type of video you can upload, they're all going to get broken down the same way. Now, the team button here, for those of you who are coaches or club directors, you might see quite a few teams listed here for however many teams you put on the platform. Any of you who are individual coaches, players, or parents, you're only going to see the one team that you have associated to you. And then everyone also gets a personal account. This personal account is where you can upload high school footage, any beach tournament or beach footage that you have, basically anything you're playing in that's outside of the club team, but you want it to get broken down to you as an individual. You can put it on your personal account. That way, all year you can create highlight videos from both club and high school footage if you want to. You can also obviously search by the date that the video was uploaded or search by the name of the video as well. Now, this is my club team's account from this past season. You can see each one of these folders here represents a different tournament weekend that we played in, and then down below we have some practice footage. You all can use the folders however you want. They're just there to keep you organized, and you can create those folders right here. Now, the upload process for Balltime is pretty simple. You click Upload Video. This is where you would select whether it's beach or indoor volleyball and then what type of video you're uploading. And this just tells the AI how it needs to be breaking the specific video down that you're uploading. It has some slight differences in how it's going to break down a practice video versus a match, but we can talk about that here in a little bit. Otherwise, you would select your team from this drop-down list and attach the video to a folder from here if you want to. Now, when it comes to actually finding the video that you want to upload, there's a couple of options. You can click into your video finder on your computer or drag and drop your files. We do have an app for iOS, so I would say majority of our users are filming with an iPhone or an iPad and then opening up the app and uploading through there. You don't have to use an Apple device though. You can literally use anything as long as it can record in 1080p. 1080p is the quality standard of the video that we want you to be uploading in, and 1080p comes standard on literally any device that you could be recording with these days. We typically tell people not to record or upload in 4K. The reason for that is the 4K file size is just a lot larger, so it's going to take a lot longer for that video to upload. And we're going to downgrade that video into 1080p anyway, so you may as well just upload in 1080p. We also tell people not to upload previously live streamed footage. The reason for that is that when you live stream anything, regardless of what platform you're using to live stream, that video quality is going to be in 720p, which obviously is a lower quality standard than what we want you to be uploading in, which is again 1080p. So try to stay away from uploading anything that was previously live streamed, and then try to stay away from uploading anything in 4K just because those file sizes are super large. We do also have the ability to merge multiple files when you upload. So a lot of our users will film set 1, film set 2, film set 3, and then merge those files into one video that they upload to Balltime. You don't have to do that though. You can just start the video recording and end the video recording at the beginning and the end of the match and upload that entire thing. That's going to get broken down in the same way. We do also have the ability to merge a sync a YouTube or a Facebook account. And that way you're only uploading in one spot. You can push that video to Balltime from either one of those platforms. We do also not have any upload limits. So if you're familiar with potentially some other platforms, you know that you could only upload a certain amount of matches in a 24-hour period to get broken down. We do not have any upload limits. You can upload however many matches or videos that you have in a 24-hour period, and they will all get broken down the same way. And then once you click Start the Magic, we cannot control your upload speed. That's all due to your internet connection. But once that video is in our platform, it's going to take about 45 minutes to get broken down and sent back to you. Now, when you get a video broken down and sent back to you, it's going to look like this. So each one of these tiles here is a different match that my club team played at Nationals last year. And it's going to come back to you with a certain percentage. What this percentage is what the AI feels confident that it tagged correctly. If it doesn't think it's going to tag something correctly and its threshold for accuracy is pretty high, it's going to place that action into what we call unidentified actions. Examples of this would be like two of your players come together to pass the ball, but their back is to the camera, so the AI can't tell which one of them passed it. It's going to show you that clip and ask you to help it identify what happened there. Another example might be your players are blocking and the ball is super close to your player's hand versus the net, and it can't tell, is this actually a block or not? It might show you that clip and ask you, is this a block? And if it is, who performed it? It's very easy to walk through. Anyone associated to your team is able to do that as long as they have the correct permissions. And it's not mandatory to get your video to 100%, but if you want to verify that all the actions in that video did get coded to the correct athlete, then you can walk through and get that to 100%. Something else to note about uploading is that anyone associated to the team is able to upload video. You don't need any sort of admin status to be able to upload video to the team. Again, anyone associated to the team is able to upload. Now, when you're in a video, this is what it's going to look like. So it's a nice big video player here. And then over on the right are all the different ways you can watch your film. So you can watch here by rally. You can see each one of these rallies gets broken out independently. We remove the dead time from match video, and then obviously a score is assigned here. You can also watch by rotation. Now, when you first upload the video, all of these rotations here are going to say unknown. So if you are a coach and you want rotational data for your match, what you can do is click this edit button here and set the very first rotation, and the rest of them are going to auto-populate based on the logic of volleyball. So here, if I set this to rotation 6, the rest of these rotations are going to change along with me, but we are in rotation 3, so I'm going to change that back. If any of you attending this webinar are from a different country outside of the US, you can click this little setting button here and toggle between the US rotation nomenclature and the international rotation nomenclature, but I'm going to change that back to the US. Once I set those rotations, I can now filter by rotation. So I can see every time we serve receive in rotation 2 here. Once I set those rotations, I can also pop into stats, and I can go to rotation stats, and you'll see scoring efficiency, side out efficiency, and first ball side out efficiency by rotation. You'll also see this rotation charts section. On this section, what you're looking at here are first ball side out swings by rotation. So you have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6 down below. At the top of each rotation, you get this little table. What that table is showing you is on perfect pass, medium pass, and bad pass, who's getting set and what they're hitting out of that scenario. So as you can see, when I highlight my mouse over the 3, the lines below also highlight. That's telling you those are the swings that we took in perfect pass. As I move over here, you can see number 10 got set 2 balls in perfect pass. She obviously hit 0. 16 got set 1. She made an error. And then 15 got set 3 balls in perfect pass scenario, and she hit 330. So as a coach, I would probably tell my kids, we need to set number 15 a little bit more in perfect pass in rotation 5. Now, on Balltime, any number that's blue is clickable. So if I click on this number 3 here, it's going to take me in to watch all 3 of those swings right here. I can also click on these lines below that are also hyperlinks to that specific play. So you can see here, I can click on this line and it's going to take me to those 2 swings. I also have the ability to toggle between seeing first ball swings by rotation or transition swings by rotation, or looking at first ball and trans together. And then any of these lines that are a bit thick, what that's showing you is there's multiple swings taken by that player in the same general area with the same outcome. So you can see here number 10, Bridget, hit 2 balls cross court from the outside that were kills. Again, I can click on that line. It's going to show me both of those swings right here, or I can toggle between grouping those lines or splitting them up independently. And now I can see both of those swings right here. So that is all of the rotational analysis that you'll get on Balltime. Now, you can also watch here under the Actions tab. On the Actions tab, this is where you can still see the set number, the rally number, and the score, but here is where you're going to go in to filter for the specific things that you might want to see. So I would click on this filter button here, and I can say I want to see Anna. Anna is our right side, attacking a red, which is what we call the in-system back set, off of our setter Chloe. I can apply that filter and see all 5 times Anna hits a red in this match off of Chloe. Now, the 4 buttons here, these are what we call the ease of use buttons, and they're everywhere across the platform when you're watching video. The only one that changes its functionality depending on where you're at is the edit button. This edit button is also potentially something you do not have access to. Coaches and admins and club directors, they can make the decision on whether or not players and parents have edit capability. So if you don't see the edit button on your account, that's because your coaches or club directors took the edit capability away from players and parents. Now, again, the edit button is the only one that changes what it does depending on where you're at. So if you're here on rallies or rotations, that edit button will change the score or the rotation. Here on actions, though, it's going to change anything that got coded. So for example, let's say that this is not a 2 rated pass in your gym or on your team, you would call that a 3. You can click this edit button and change that pass rating from a 2 to a 3 very easily. You can also be very specific about where you're seeing things happen on the court. I would tell you all that 99% of the time that the AI pops these positional data lines in, they're pretty accurate to the data. But if you ever disagreed, you can drag and drop them and move them around on your screen. If you ever come across a court that's empty like this, for whatever reason, the AI could not pick up on that positional data, you can always add the source and destination point in just by clicking on the court and click save. Okay, now the next little button here is our comment feature, and it's a pretty awesome coaching tool for us. So when you make a comment on a play and you don't tag anybody on the team, it's going to pop up on the screen here, and everyone associated to the team is going to be able to see that comment. But if you do go in and tag someone, you do that by typing in the @ symbol. The coaches are able to tag the team, coaches, individual players, or by position group. If you are a player, you're only able to tag the team or the coaches. You cannot tag other individual athletes on the team. But when you tag someone, a couple things happen. You're going to get an email or a notification if you've been tagged that says, hey, your coach is tagged in a play, go check it out. And the other thing that happens though is now only the person who is tagged and the coaches on that team are going to be able to see that comment. So now there can be some specific feedback to players or to coaches without everyone else being able to see it. And then players and coaches can tag each other back, creating a way for you to correspond with each other on a closed loop within our comment section. And then we also just released the feature of you being able to record yourself talking about the play as it's happening. You can interact with the screen, pause the video, slow motion it, draw on the screen, all sorts of things. And the video of you doing that is going to get embedded into the comment here. That way you don't have to type everything out, and your players can listen to you talk about what you're seeing. Your coaches can understand the questions that you might have live as you're watching that video, which is pretty amazing. Now, the next button here is the star button. This is what we call labels. So everyone gets personal labels and team labels. The personal labels, when you and other people on your team or coaches create them, it's personal to you and no one else can see them. More often than not, players and parents use these personal labels to find, their best plays and blocks and digs and serves and the things that maybe you later want to create a highlight video from. Where the team labels, these are shared among everyone on the team. And in my mind, these are a bit more of a coaching tool. So if there's language that your team uses in your gym that's specific to you, or there's something you want to tag on Balltime that we don't automatically tag, you can create different labels here by just giving it a name and assigning a color. Once you do that, you can use that label as a filter. So for example, we wanted to work on reversing the flow. It's what we talk about. It's how we talk about setting against the grain. It's how we talk about set the long ball. We talk about it as reversing the flow. So I created that label for us. Now that I've done that, I can use that label as a filter. So I can come up here to filters, pop out my labels and say, I want to see every time we reverse the flow in this match. And here is all 12 times that happens. I still have to go in and manually tag the moments that I'm seeing those things happen, but it's a way for me now to pull them all into one filtered list. I can then also filter the stats by those labels. So I can see is number 16 hitting positive or negative when we reverse the flow to her. If it's negative, it's something we should probably work on a bit more at practice or stop reversing the flow to her in the matches. So just a very cool way to be very specific to your team and what you all are working on and what you want to pull up. Now, the last button here is the Add To button. It allows you to add this clip to either a playlist or a highlight. The two things are very similar. The only difference is a playlist lives on Balltime and can only be shared with the people who are on your team. So again, think of this a bit more of a coaching tool. If you wanted to find every time your setters reverse the flow across their last 20 matches, put them into one spot, reorder them, review them, send them to your players to watch, that's what you would use a playlist for. Where a highlight is anything you want to export off of Balltime. So think a recruiting highlight video or something for social media. Now, the next button here is starred, or this next segment is starred. This is going to be an aggregate of anything that you've starred from this video. You can push these all directly to a highlight builder from here or export the clips. I typically don't use these two buttons, and I'll show you all how I would build a highlight up here in a little bit, but you have that optionality here. Comment section is anything that's been commented on in this video. If you've personally been tagged in something, it'll be here. And then you get a setup tab. This setup tab is going to walk you through how to set up your video if something hasn't already been done, like setting up the rotations or getting your percentage up to 100%. Now, this button here is your players in the video. This is how your kids are getting tagged to their specific actions based on their jersey number first, but then their hair color, their size, what they're wearing, their shoe color, all sorts of things that go into that. If in a particular video you ever notice one of your kids is consistently getting tagged incorrectly, It's happening through here, but you can go in and change that. So let's say her hair right here was covering the number 2 and she got tagged as number 1. Let's go into edit player identification. We're going to find number 1, find where she might have gotten tagged wrong, and go put it on the right player. So it's super easy to go in and re-tag those things if you're noticing in a video something was tagged or someone was tagged incorrectly in bulk. To be honest with you all, it really doesn't happen too often, but it has a lot to do with how big your jersey numbers are and how much hair your players have. So again, if everyone's wearing a high bun and a braid, awesome. But if not, and they have a big ponytail, that's okay. You can go in and change that here in the players in the video button. Um, Now, the next one here is keyboard shortcuts. This is going to allow you to function through the video using your keyboard. So I can do things like play and pause with my space bar. I can go forward frame by frame, backward frame by frame. I can watch the video in slow motion. All of this is done with my keyboard, plus plenty of other things. And that's going to be everywhere for you on the platform when you're watching video, just as a reminder of what those things are. Now, this here is trajectories. This is probably everybody's favorite part of Balltime, specifically as coaches, but also if you're a setter, this is going to be a really cool tool for you. What we're going to do is filter again on Anna attacking the red, and we're going to turn on our setting trajectories. Now, you can use these for serving, passing, setting, or digging, but what's going to happen here is it's going to draw a line from where our setter sets the ball to where our hitter attacks the ball. Down at the bottom of your screen, you're going to get the set air time down here, or the tempo of the set. And then the different colors that you're seeing are reflecting the different outcomes of the swing. So blue is a kill, white is in play, red is an error. Obviously, this is an awesome feedback tool for resetters in terms of your consistency, location, tempo, height of the set, all of that stuff that goes into it. If you want to clear those lines out, you can click this little eraser button right here. And then there's a few different ways you can view these lines. You can see them compounding on each other like we just saw. You can see them go one at a time for each individual clip, or look at all of the clips in bulk together without having to wait through as they play. So really, really cool feature there. Now, the other things that you see on your screen right here, these are what we call the overlays. They're still in beta testing for us, but they're great. You'll all have access to them when you start uploading video and interacting with Balltime. This one is the court overlay. It's going to show you the trajectory of what's happening in the play before it does. This one is your speed overlay. If the AI is able to catch the ball speed, it's going to show you serve speed, set speed, and attack speed. It will also show you dig airtime and pass airtime as well. And then here is your height overlay. So this is going to show you how high the players are attacking the ball every time. If for whatever reason you want to clear those things off of your screen, you can click this little setting button here and you can just deactivate those from your screen. Same thing with the comments or the scoreboard up here that we auto-generate, you can remove, and you can play with the timestamps before and after each action. And then lastly on your screen, you get this little drawing tool. So it's going to allow you to draw on your screen. You can change this to an arrow. You can physically just draw, change the color you're drawing in. That stuff is going to go ahead and stay on that screen until you remove the toolbar. Now, the next one here is stats. This is another thing that you may or may not have this full visibility on, depending on the settings that your club admin has already set up for your team. So if you have full stat visibility, you're going to see a stat line for every single person on the team. You might have 0 stat visibility, or you might only be able to see your stat line individually and the team total. Again, that's all dependent on what your club admin has set up. Now, on the stat sheet, if you do have that visibility, you can resort all of these columns. You can see pass percentage and serve rating and all that fun stuff. Again, everything in blue is clickable, so I can look at all of Anna's 16 swings here by clicking on that 16 and get pulled into a list. Then I can bulk add these to a playlist or a highlight from here if I want to. I also get a columns button here. This is going to allow you to customize your stat sheet. There's a few stat lines I just don't have showing on my side. Obviously, you can activate on yours, like kills per set, and then good pass, perfect pass percentage, that kind of deal. You can also reorder the order in which your stats appear. So maybe if I was a libero, I might want to have my passing, serving, and digging first in my stat line instead of attacking, but I'm going to go ahead and move that back. You also get a filter button here. So for you coaches, this is where you can go to filter conditionally on the stats. So let's say I wanted to know how my team is hitting in first ball side out. I can apply that filter and see that we're hitting 140 in first ball side out versus in transition, we're hitting 230. So I would obviously spend a little bit more time in first ball. You can also, if you're running a 6-2 on your team, you can compare how your team is hitting off of one setter versus the other, preceding pass rating, rotationally, set number, in and out of system, and zones on the floor. So there's tons of ways to manipulate the stats. Rotation data and charts we've already talked about. Tendencies here. So this is like a shot chart of everything that is happening in your match. Right now, we happen to be filtered on our attacks here, but you can do, your serve lines and passing and digging and all that stuff if you want to as well. If I click this button, it's going to show me the stats for what's visually being represented over here. And then I can also filter for anything I want to see here. So let's say I just wanted to see Anna's shot chart. This is my right side shot chart for the match. And again, I can click on these lines from here and it's going to show me that specific play. Now I can also filter for, let's say, every time we attack out of zone 4. So here's all of our swings out of zone 4. You can see when I apply these filters, the stats also change along with it. But here's where I can do some other cool things. I can apply the zones on the courts. I would tell my kids like, hey, we hit a lot of balls to zone 6. I can also change these arrows to just the destination or even apply a little heat map scenario on this if that's what I want to do or how I want to see it. I can also toggle this between a 2D and a 3D view, which I'll show you right here. So this is our 3D model. It's showing you right now all of our attacks on a 3D plane. So it's showing you where we're attacking the ball from. Just another very cool way to see what's going on in your match. You can click on all of these little dots and also filter for anything specific you want to see in this view as well. Now, the last two buttons, share button is going to allow you to copy this URL and send it to anyone regardless of whether they're on Balltime or not. Use cases for this are typically number 5 is going through the recruiting process. A college coach wants a full match video. She can send them this link. They could come in and filter for every time she touches the ball. Similarly, number 10, grandparents couldn't go to your last tournament. She can send them these links. They could come in and find every time she touches the ball as well. And then the export button, this is going to allow you to download the footage without the dead time in it or link it back to a YouTube account. Now, that is what Balltime does on a per match basis. Something else you can do on our platform is open up what we call the multi-video player. This is going to allow you to filter on multiple matches at once. So I'm going to come in here and filter on my one team. This is the same match that we were just watching, but I'm going to go ahead and select 2 more matches. Now I'm going to have 3 matches worth of actions that I could go in and filter on. So I can look at all of Anna's attacks across these 3 matches, and here's all 52 times that Anna hits a ball in these 3 matches. Again, I can bulk add these all to a playlist or to a highlight from here, or even share the copy of this URL with anyone, and they're going to be able to come into this specific filter of Anna attacking across these 3 matches. Now you can do this same thing from stats. So if I pop into the stats button up here and add videos, again, I'm going to have to filter on my team here. This is that same match we were watching before, but again, I'm going to add those 3 matches in, and now it's going to give me stats combined across these 3 matches. And just another way for me to find all of Anna's 52 swings. There's no limit to however many matches you want to add in here. You can do this by folder, so you can do, an entire tournament weekend or a full season or anything that you want to see. Again, you get rotational data and charts across time. We also just released the trends category here. So what this is showing you is the trend of your team for however many matches that you've selected. So over time, for whatever metric you want to see. So here in this example, we have our blue line is our attack efficiency, our purple line is our average pass rating. Again, I can select whatever metric I want to see here. You can also filter this by athlete instead of the entire team as well, if that's something that you want to see. So very cool way to track the progress of your team over time and over your season. Now, the next little button here is scouting. So coaches, you're going to have access to this. This basically allows you to create a scouting report in about 10 seconds. The first thing you do is tell the AI which matches you want it to consider for your scouting report. The next thing you're going to do is set the lineup. And in this lineup setup, you're going to see the rotation 1 and rotation 4 for the matches you've selected. And you have to say, is this team running a 5-1 or a 6-2? This is for Louisville. They run a 6-2. And the next thing I do is input their lineup. You also get stats down here for the matches that you've selected as well. Once you click save, it's going to populate a little scouting report for you. So you get little hitter tendency charts. So here's all of Louisville's hitters. Let's take number 4, Charity Looper, for an example. You're going to get a little stat line for the matches that you've selected. And then down below is her hitter tendency chart. Right now, it's showing you all of her first ball and transition swings. So essentially all of her swings for the 2 matches, but I can toggle this between first ball swings or transition swings. And then I can also ungroup these lines and split them up. I can always click on these lines and it's going to take me to those specific swings right here as well. And then down below, you get all of that rotational data for those matches that you've selected. So super, super easy to create a scouting report, and it's going to save you all as coaches a ton of time. Now, the next thing I want to show you is playlist. If and when you build a playlist, it's going to live here. I show you all this for a couple reasons. One, to show you just what a playlist looks like, that each one of these clips is of a different match that my team played this last season, and I can drag and drop these clips around to reorder them. But these are very good examples of if for some reason you can't get your camera on the end line and in the middle of the court, which is the most ideal spot for filming, is again on the end line in the middle of the court. If you are in a tight gym, like you can see we're here, and you can't get your camera there and you have to be closer to a sideline, that is okay. You want to be as close to your end line as possible. But there's three main tips that I have for you about where to set your camera up. One of those main tips is you want to see the opposite four corners of the court within the frame of your camera as much as possible. These four corners are how we map the rest of the court out. It's how we get the fun AI stuff and positional data, pass ratings, speeds, jump touches, all that stuff. So you want to see those four corners. The next big tip is don't zoom out. When you zoom out, the players further away from the camera get blurred. So a lot of our users will set their camera up and think, oh, I can't see the right back corner or the left back corner of the court over here. That's a problem. That is okay. It is better to cut off the corners closest to the camera or on your side of the court than it would be to zoom out. So again, don't zoom out and see those four corners. And then the last big tip is to get your camera up as high as possible for what's happening right here. It's what we call an occlusion. It's where two kids cross in front of each other in front of the camera, and then you can't see the player behind. So in this example, you can see number 12 is standing directly in front of the kid with leggings on, and I can't tell who that is. Neither can the AI, right? So the higher you get your camera, the less often that those occlusions happen, and the higher the percentage will be when that video gets turned around and sent back to you. Hopefully all of that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, please go ahead and ask. Now, we're going to pop into the highlight builder. So if and when you're ready to build a highlight, it's going to live on our platform. We're going to house all of that footage. Anything in orange here is in draft, but anything in blue has already been exported. And I'm going to show you an example of a video that I did for my team at the end of our season last year. Each clip here is of a different kid on my team. I added our club logo down here, as well as that player highlight feature, which is that little yellow circle underneath my athletes. You all can change the color of that to fit your club's branding. You can choose your favorite color if you want to. You can even put a logo underneath your players if you want to as well. You can also export these videos as a vertical reel. So this is the same video. It's just formatted for social media, right? Instagram and TikTok and all that other stuff. Something I really love about this is even though I've already exported this highlight video, I can still click the edit button and get popped back into my video editor. So what you're looking at here is our highlight builder, and on the left are all of the videos that your team has uploaded or anything you have access to. You can add clips from any one of these videos. You can add clips from playlists or previous highlights that you've created as well. Middle of your screen is the video you're working on, and then over here on the right are all the individualized clips that you've already added or that you would add to your video. And you can drag and drop these things around. You can delete clips out really easily. You can also play with the timestamp of each clip. So let's say in this one, I want more than just her jumping and swinging. Maybe I want to see the full transition to attack series. What I'm going to do is click Adjust Clip, click on the timestamp, and drag this back. Now I have a much longer clip and I have the full transition to attack series here. So super easy to edit the timestamp of all of your clips in your video. Now, let's say I'm building this video for Bridget, and I remember she had a great kill from earlier in our season against, let's say, Austin Jr. So I'm going to click on this video here, go to Actions, Filter. Now I have all of the same filters that I had before. So I can say I want Bridget, attack kills, apply that filter. Looks like she had 11 kills in this match, and I can either add them one at a time or click this Add All button, add all 11 of those clips into my video over here. So super easy to add anything that you might want to do there. I can also group things by skill. So you can see the order in which my clips appear. Right now I have my intro slide followed by passing, followed by attacking. Let's say I want attacking to be first. I'm going to say group by skill, grab attacking, move it above passing, and click save. And that's going to reorder the clips within my video. I can also add visuals here. So I have this little add visuals button. You can add these different transition slides that we have here. You can also create your own and play with the formatting. We also have this athlete intro slide, which is what you saw when we first popped into this highlight video. And again, we have a little builder here. So it's super easy to pop in and just plug and chug your information in. You can add whatever you want to this slide, like your GPA, your vertical, your coach's contact information, your own contact information. You can upload an image of yourself. And when you do that, that intro slide is automatically going to go to the beginning of the clips of your video. Now, the export process, very simple. Click export video. This is where you would download it. This is how you create a vertical reel with a few different ways to format those. You can highlight the active player here and change the color, put your logo beneath them, even add setting trajectories here. You can also link this video to YouTube or to a Sports Recruits account upon this export as well. Now, the highlight builder gets even a little easier. So if you come to highlights and click create highlight, you can start from scratch and do exactly what I just showed you as far as finding one video, use the filters, adding certain clips, or you can let the AI do the work for you. So we have these different different templates based for social media, but we also have them down here that are built out for recruiting based on your player's position. So let's say that you have an outside hitter and she's going through the recruiting process and she wants a video from, let's say, her last 3 matches. So she's going to click on those 3 matches, click add. She's Bridget the outside and create highlight. And in 2 seconds, it's going to pull together her best kills, blocks, good passes, digs, and serves in that order. So it's a perfectly formulated recruiting highlight video for an outside hitter. Obviously, she should go through and watch the clips, make sure that they're in the order that she wants and all that, but it couldn't be easier to create a highlight video on Balltime. Now, on the recruiting side, all of your kids will also get this My Profile page. This is that front-facing recruiting homepage that you can send to college coaches. You can link your highlights in here or full match videos. And again, super easy to edit. You click Edit Profile and just plug and chug your information in here. Your coach's contact, your little blurb about yourself, and then you can even link your social media handles in here. We also have a university athlete integration. So when you toggle this on, any video that you put on your My Profile page is automatically going to sync to your UA account. All right, now the My Teams section. So for you club directors or admin of the club, you're going to see any team that your team has added to Balltime in this section. Again, coaches, players, parents, you'll only see the one roster that your player or that you are a coach of here. Now on this section, there's a couple things that you can see. You can see the last time people logged in, their total hours on Balltime, and their hours in the last 30 days. If you are a coach of a team, let's say, or a recruiting director, something like that, let's say that I'm helping this kid, Elena, with recruiting. What I can do is click View Profile, and now I'm going to be viewing Balltime as if I were my player, Elena, and I could pop into her highlight section, and I can edit a highlight video that she created or create one for her on her platform. So it's a cool way to be pretty hands-on with your athletes. Now, when you are, let's say you're a parent watching this and you are getting an invite link, okay? Ideally, we want the players to be the ones that are listed out on the rosters here under their own emails and things like that. Let's say you are a parent of a 12-year-old and they don't have their own login or they don't have their own email. That is okay. You as a parent can create the account for your player and then you can log into Balltime using your own email. Now, if your players have their own email, we would tell you to probably have them create the account and be listed on the roster. Then you as a parent can create your own parent login using our parent portal. That way you can still access your athlete on Balltime under your own login and you don't have to remember your kid's login. So let's say you are a parent of a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 16-year-old. Instead of you having to remember each one of their individual logins, again, you can have your own parent login that you can log in and see all 3 of your athletes. So the way that you're going to do that is parents, go to balltime.com and create an account. After you've done that, you're going to log into your athlete account. So right now, pretend that this account that we're looking at is me as the athlete, okay? What I'm going to do is click on this little icon here and click settings. Okay, then I'm going to go to access and here I'm going to add access and add the the parent email here. Okay, so I've added Amy's mom1 at gmail.com, who is my parent. Okay, then once you've done that, you're going to log back into Balltime using your own parent email. Then you're going to see that you automatically have this My Athletes section. So when you log in, you can click My Athletes and you can click View Profile. And now you're going to be viewing Balltime as if you were your athlete. You can upload video to the team. You can do all sorts of great things. If you have multiple children, that you have that parent portal access for. On this little drop down, you're going to see all three or all two or however many kids you have listed here. So you can always access their accounts from your own parent portal login. If you feel like you want an email changed on a roster or you want your kid's email to be associated to the roster and you want to create your own parent account, shoot us an email over at contact@balltime.com and we'll help you out and get you loaded up correctly there. Now, that is essentially ball time. Something else that I want to show you all here is our Ball Time Academy. This is where you have an entire resource library for everything on Ball Time. There are full-length demo videos in here, exactly what I just showed you all just now. Throughout the season, if you ever forget how to turn on the ball trajectories, you can come into the ball trajectories section and watch the 1-minute video on how to do that. You can also come down here to the highlight builder and get a refresher on that. There's full interesting things about like FAQs or how to set up your recordings, uploading your videos. I mean, tons of information in here. And then we have a contact us page that if you ever need anything, you can always email us at contact@balltime.com and we'll help you out. We're going to try to get back to you within at the most 24 hours, if not before then. Now, again, that is essentially ball time. We're going to go ahead and answer anything that might be in the Q&A. And let's see here. Open up my Q&A. Tonight's recording or tonight's webinar is being recorded and we'll send it out. So if you have other questions, feel free to go ahead and ask them. Someone asked, can you go over live streaming for Ball Time? We do not live stream on Ball Time. So a lot of the times our users or teams, they'll have one parent who is assigned to live stream to Facebook or whatever else you're live streaming to, and then another parent who's capturing video for Ball Time. How can you assign players that don't want to set up? Someone asked, why does my profile as a parent show up like I'm a player? That's a very good question. I would assume that your account, when you created it, is listed as a player instead of a parent. You don't have to worry about the My Profile page if you don't want to, but if you want that to go away, shoot us an email at contact@balltime.com and we can change the account from player to parent. Are the Q&A questions included in the video recording? Not unless I'm reading them out loud. Otherwise, you won't be able to see those. You always want to record horizontally with your phone. So someone asked, is it better to record in portrait or horizontal? You want to record horizontally. Good question. Someone asked, I recorded a match in 5K. Oops, can I switch it and convert it so I can upload it? You can still upload the 5K video. It's just going to take a long time. So hopefully you have pretty strong internet connection. Otherwise, you would have to use some other like third-party app to be able to convert the video. One of those is, oh gosh, what is it called? I forget what the video or the app is called that you can convert your videos, but you might be able to even just do that in your iPhone or on your settings there. Someone asked, can you go over how to set team permissions? Yes. So in this My Team section here, um, if you want to do this club wide, for those of you who are club directors, you can come to settings here and change these different permissions. So here's the stat visibility options and player and parent edit access here. Again, this is for the club wide settings. If you want to do that per team, let's say I wanted to change these 17 Terra permissions, I can click on these three buttons here and say access settings, and now I'm changing the permissions for just that one team. Someone asked, can you walk through player identification again? Do we need to do it for each video? Really good question. Okay, so as long as the video is taken in, what we tell you to do as far as close to the end line as possible in 1080p, up pretty high, that player identification piece should happen automatically. Okay, when you pop into a specific video, the very first thing that I would do is click here on players in video. Okay, then I would click edit player identification. And if there's any images here in this unknown section, apply those images as best you can. So I know that this is my kid Anna because she wears those bright pink shoes, and I'm going to click save. This is Bridget, I know that, and this one looks like it's my kid Avery. Okay, so I'm going to click save. So the best I can do, I'm going to apply any of those unknown photos. The next thing I might do, depending on the quality of my video, is go in and just do a quick glance and make sure that all of these photos are of the right person that's being identified all within their identification, right? So all of these look about right. So awesome. I feel really good about that. Then I'm going to click save and finish. Okay. Now, the next thing I would do is click into the identification wizard. So it's going to show me these and ask me, okay, who's performing this set? And you can see why it's asking me who is performing this set. You can see down here on the bottom of my screen, the thing that's in orange or the action that's in orange is the action it's asking you about, right? So as you watch this play, the kid who's bump setting the ball or having that second contact is off of the screen. So the AI can't tell who's doing that, right? So I know obviously that is my player Brooke. So I'm going to click save, right? One more, who's performing that set. You can see again probably why it's confused about who's setting this ball because it's expecting someone on our team to be doing that. But number 5 is standing directly in front of 15, who's standing directly in front of the opponent who's setting the ball. So I'm going to click opponent and save. Looks like we have one more who's setting this ball. Same thing. I would say this is not a set. I would say that this is probably an attack by number 11. So I'm going to say change set to different action. We're going to say 11 Chloe is attacking the ball and it's in play and click save. Now my video is at 100%. So again, as long as your video is recorded properly, all of that, most of that player identification is going to happen automatically. But if it doesn't, you can always click into that players in the video, go to edit player identification and come in and make sure all of the unknown photos are assigned as best you can, and then make sure all of those photos by player are on the correct kid. Really good question. Someone asked, can you video a one-on-one video training or, like a private lesson and use trajectory to show their progress? Yes, as long as you've uploaded that video to like a team account, that way you have stats. If you don't upload it to the team and you only upload it to the personal account, you're not going to get stats for that. So it depends on if you want the entire team to be able to have access to the positional training that you're doing. Someone asked, can you go over account creation? Would we receive access from the club? Yes. So as long as your club has purchased Balltime, they're going to come into this My Team section. Let's say you were on 17 Terra. They're going to click this invite team button, copy that link, and send it to you. You're going to click on that link and be prompted to create your account that would be linked to the team. So if you have not gotten a team invite from your club yet, contact them about that. Is there an option to see the whole game versus by clip? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but when you're in a video, um, if you just want to watch the plays, what I would do is just on this rally section, just watch as it goes, and it's going to automatically skip from the first rally to the second rally to the third rally and things like that. Versus on the actions tab, here's where you can see all the actions broken out within the rally. I'm not sure if I answered that exactly what you mean, so you can ask something again or follow up if that's not what you meant. Someone asked, sometimes the set score shows and other times it doesn't. Good question. So when you pop into a match, again, 99% of the time, the AI is automatically going to identify the set breaks and pop in the set breaks, pop in the score automatically. Sometimes, again, depending on the video, that doesn't happen. So what you can do is either click set up the games or edit sets right here. And here is where, let's say this wasn't just one set, although it is. If I were to add another set in, let's say set two started right here, although again, it doesn't. I'm going to delete this out. But let's say it ever had that wrong. You can always drag and drop this to wherever they actually begin and end. But that is how you would go ahead and set up the games and the score if it didn't already happen for you. Um, he said, sometimes our team and the opponent team scores are reversed. Any advice? Um, I'm wondering if in that scenario your team got identified incorrectly. Let me go in and show you what I mean by that. If you're ever in a situation where you are setting up your camera away from the side that your team is on, let's say you're in a really tight gym and you can't set a camera up behind your team, so you have to be on the opposite side. The team closest to the camera to start is what it's going to assume it's trying to identify. So if that ever happens, or if you ever feel like your kids aren't the ones that are being identified in the video, what you're going to do is click players in the video, and then you're going to click swap teams in video. So if all these kids were not my players and they were the opposite team players, I would click swap teams in video. It's going to reset the video and like flip the teams basically. So I would imagine what's happening with the score situation is that. So I would go in and reset your video by clicking swap teams in video. Someone asked, how do you build a roster by name and number without an email? Good question. So again, you come into My Teams and click Create Team. You would name your team right here. Once you do that, click into that specific team and click Add Team Member. So players and coaches, name, jersey number, position. Once you've added them all to the roster, click Invite Team, copy this link, and send it to them however you communicate with them. Yeah, CapCut could probably help you out with the 5K video. Yeah, someone asked about the 5K video converting that down to 1080p. Someone responded and said CapCut could be an option for you. Someone asked, is there an angle that's too high for the rear and center? Sometimes there's a track or a second level. Not sure if it's too high or what you've seen. Really great question. There is no such thing as too high. The higher, the better. We have a minimum height requirement of 5 feet high, but if you can get, 10, 12, 15, even higher than that, again, that's just going to eliminate all those occlusions. It's going to be a better situation for you. Someone asked, I use score cam. Should I pause the recording between sets and should I stop between sets? Uh, Very good question. And again, completely up to you. You can either start your recording at the beginning of the match and end the recording at the end of the match and upload the whole thing. You could also pause your video between sets and resume, again, being one video that you're uploading. Or you can start and stop each set individually and then merge those videos when you upload to Balltime. Any of those work perfectly fine. They're all going to get broken down the same way, and the AI is going to do a good job of figuring out where those set breaks are. If you're noticing the team scores are reversed, for whoever is asking that, can you go ahead and email us at contact@balltime.com and send us the links to the video that you noticed that on? Then we'll take a deeper look into that. Someone responded also pausing between plays. You don't want to pause between plays or do any sort of like editing between like the gameplay. So even during, timeouts and things, you might be able to pause, but like between actual plays, I would not pause just because we are going to edit the video on our side. The AI is looking for that dead time to make edits. So if you're pausing at the end of a rally and then starting again at the beginning of the rally, there's no real dead time in there for it to identify the split between the rallies. So I would not pause between plays. Someone asked, do you move the camera to keep your team on the same side or keep the camera in the same position the whole game? Really good question. The best scenario for the AI to be as high with its identification as well as its accuracy is to get the camera behind your team as much as possible. So if you are switching sides ever, I would do your best to change the camera with you when you switch sides and start recording again. So that would be a scenario where you would want to start and stop the recording at each set if you're moving your camera. Someone asked a quick way to add a bunch of plays to a highlight folder. Um, what I would do when I build highlights, what the very first thing I do is click create highlight and use one of these templates based for recruiting on your kid's position. So again, you come in here, click, let's say your kid's an outside, go to outside hitter and select however many matches you want to add or to be considered for that one. Click add for the outside, create highlight, and it's automatically going to pull together the best kills, blocks, good passes, digs, and serves of that athlete as an outside hitter video. So it automatically creates this for you. And then you can go back and add more clips or delete them out or anything like that. But that's probably the fastest way to go in and just add clips to a highlight video. Someone asked, should I use a specific app on my iPad to record the games or does the system camera app work? No, you can just use your iPad camera or your phone camera to record for Balltime. And we are currently beta testing in-app recording. So like through the Balltime app, you can record and upload. It's going pretty well. So we're hoping by next weekend that's going to be released for everyone to use. That way you don't have to record on your device and take up any storage on your device if you don't want to. I think this is one to go ahead and address with everyone who's still here. Someone asked, is recording from the midline or the side view of the court, so like along the net, is that okay? Um, the answer is it'll still work if you're recording from the net view or from like the side of the court, as long as your camera isn't spanning. So like, on Baller TV, that camera follows the ball. As long as your camera is stationary, it's going to work better. It's still that percentage that comes back to you is going to be lower because obviously if I'm turned to the side, you can't see my jersey number in the front or the back, where if you were behind me, obviously you would see my jersey number more often. So there's a lot more occlusions from the side, and it's harder to see any of like the trajectories and positional data and things like that from that sideline view than it would be from the end line. So in short, yes, a sideline view will still work. It's just not as good. Someone asked, I'm assuming it's an annual subscription. Does it auto renew or do we have to manually renew? If we miss this, does it all of the data go away when we re-sign up? Really good question. If you are on like a club team account, we are never going to auto renew those team accounts. We'll always check in with whoever created the account in the first place and purchase it and see if you want to add more teams or if you want to resubscribe. If you're on like an individual subscription, those do auto renew. So you would need to like cancel your subscription if you don't want that to continue. And then let's say your club team doesn't get back on Balltime next year. Okay, we're going to keep all of that video on a rolling 18-month basis. So essentially for 2 seasons, you're going to have all of that video available to you. it's at that point we would contact you and let you know we're going to delete videos and all of that, where you should go in and like download that video. But as long as your team and your club continues to use Balltime and you use the same email year to year to year, you're going to have all of that video available to you always. Let's go in and show you here. So um, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. We have this kid, Campbell. Campbell's a returning athlete for us. So when I'm viewing her profile, you can see her teams list here. This is her 16 Shannon team, which is the team she's currently on. Again, Campbell's a returning athlete for us. So down here it says 2024 archived teams, and this is her 15s team. If I click on that one, you see of all of that video from her 15s year. Where if I click into her 16s team, you can see all of her 16s team video as well. Highlights that you create never go away. So those will always stay on your account as long as you're using Balltime. Handbrake. Thank you, Mike. That is what I was thinking about. Handbrake is the other app that you can use to convert videos from like a 4K, 5K into 1080p, and you can compress files and things like that. Gosh, thank you. Someone asked, how do I see an updated progress to YouTube? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Other than being able to see like when you export from Balltime to YouTube, how do you see when it's done? I honestly can't tell you. If I didn't answer that correctly and you have a different way to ask that question, please do. And someone asked, how does this compare to Huddle Assist? I assume that it is the main competitor to your solution. It is. I would tell you the big differences between us and Huddle. One is typically price, another one is turnaround time. With Huddle, you get your video back within about 24 hours, where on Balltime, it's about 45 minutes. We do a lot more from the data and analytics standpoint. You can look at multiple matches together on Balltime where you can't on any other platform. There's a lot of other really cool functionality that we have on our platform that others just don't have. Um, okay. If anyone has other questions, I'm going to hang out here for another 5 minutes. Feel free to ask them. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Again, this has been recorded, so we'll go ahead and send that out probably tomorrow to anyone who is registered for this. Um, Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Good luck this season. Thank you. Someone asked, if a club purchased the subscription, can you still use the personal setting? Yes. If the club purchased your subscription, you automatically get that little personal account that you can upload video to, and no one else is going to see the video that you put on your personal account. Um, we have a couple different tiers. Someone asked about pricing. We have a couple different tiers of pricing depending on your club structure. So feel free to shoot us an email at contact@balltime.com and we'll go over your specific scenario with you. Someone said, did you state you cannot stat on the personal? Correct. So that personal account essentially functions as our individual subscriptions, which do not offer stats. So it will continue to like break the video down to you as an individual athlete. That way you can still find your plays and you can create highlight videos and whatnot, but you just don't get stats on that personal account. All right, like I said, we'll be here for another like 2 minutes. Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Corey. Thank you. All right, we'll give it one more minute. If you still have a question, type fast. All right, thank you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. Thanks for being here and good luck this season. Let us know if you need anything. Thanks, Mike.